Hello there! Day 27 of the Ewan McGregor-a-thon, and today I will be watching Stay. Once again, I had never heard of this film. I know it is with Ryan Gosling, who is always a big plus in my opinion, and I know it is about a psychiatrist who has to convince his client to not commit suicide. And while doing that, he is trying to not go down the bad path himself. I don't know. The premise sounds kind of weird. Not really my shtick, but we'll see. I hope there's one scene where the client, I'm just assuming that the client is played by Ryan Gosling and the psychiatrist is played by Ewan McGregor. I have no idea if that's true, but I'm just going to assume it. So I hope there's one scene where Ryan Gosling is standing on a bridge, considering whether to jump or not, and Ewan McGregor pulls over in his car. He says, "No!" And then a dramatic zoom on his face, and then he says, "Stay." Ryan Gosling turns around, smiles, and then the credits roll. So yeah, that's my prediction for the end of the film. Let's see if I'm right. Probably not, but we'll see. I will let you know after I've seen the film. Wow. Okay, first off I want to say that my summary was pretty spot on. There were some details which I missed, but it was pretty good. My prediction for the end was actually more accurate than it probably should have been. But my expectations of the film were completely wrong. I didn't think I would find it interesting, let alone like it, but boy was I wrong. This film is very, very good. The story is beautiful and confusing and complicated, and I love that. It reminded me very much of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, where the first time you watch it, you're just totally confused, but then when you think back on it, it actually makes a lot of sense. And I had the same feeling with this one, except that it doesn't make sense yet. In the beginning it also reminded me of Good Will Hunting, with the mentor and the student having conversations about life and stuff. Then there's the cinematography and the editing, and especially the transitions. Every single scene transition was excellent. It was so satisfying every single time. And the performances were great as well. Especially Ewan McGregor's. He really sold this I know what life is all about guy in the beginning, and then just a totally confused guy at the end. It worked perfectly for me. I also liked the costumes very much, especially Ewan McGregor's. It was very tweed professor-y type of way, and I really like that style. I also became less posh throughout the film, and that really worked well with his character, because of course he starts losing his mind towards the end of the film, and then his wardrobe also becomes less polished, so to say. And the film is very, not really complicated, but just abstract and weird. But I think I have an interpretation of the film, and especially the end. But I'm going to wait with that. First I'm going to give my score, and then I'm going to give my interpretation as to not give any spoilers. So I am giving this film an 8 out of 10, because yeah, I loved it. The editing, the cinematography, the performances, the costume design, and the story were all great. Alright, so now I'm going to give my interpretation. If you haven't seen this film, please go watch it. It really is worth it. So I'm going to go into spoiler territory now, so if you still want to watch it, turn off this video. My interpretation, which by the way is just my interpretation, it's not at all the right one, please feel free to share yours in the comments, is that the entire film is kind of a fever dream by Henry, aka Ryan Gosling, when he is dying. So at the start of the film, or at the start of the story I should say, Ryan Gosling crashes his car, his parents die, and he has a severe head wound, and he starts hallucinating. He sees all these people around him, he sees Ewan McGregor, and he sees Lila, and he starts hallucinating about them. And in his hallucination, he is Ewan McGregor, because the entire film plays from the perspective of Ewan McGregor. So Ryan Gosling becomes Ewan McGregor in his hallucination. But he also sees himself. That's why there's sometimes these weird scrambles where people call Ewan McGregor Henry, and where they sometimes switch place. Because he is slowly dying, Ryan Gosling, his hallucination becomes weirder and weirder, until at the end it doesn't make sense at all, because he always comes closer to death. And all these people that he sees while dying appear in his dream, and also the things they say. For example, I know I shouldn't have moved him, or Mummy, is this man going to die? That always comes back. And to me that works perfectly. I think it's a great interpretation, but as I said, it's probably not the right one, so please feel free to share your interpretation. And that's kind of what I love about this film. There's not one correct way to interpret it. Everyone who sees this film probably takes different things away from it. And undoubtedly there's some people who just were like, what? I don't get it at all, and left a bad review, and that's probably why this film isn't as highly rated on IMDb as other films. But yeah, I really liked it. Tomorrow, or later today I should say, I am going to watch, oh dear, Alex Rider Operation Stormbreaker. I think that's the full title, but on IMDb it's just called Stormbreaker. But yeah, more about that tomorrow, and I will see you then.